The following weeks were tough, especially the first 10 days. The desert was hot and dangerous. They walked at night and slept at day, trying to keep their heads cool. Water ran out quickly, but cacti were a real lifesaver. They provided the group with enough liquid to stay alive and even some fruits. It was a heavy 10 days, but eventually they made it through. The rest of the way to Glasres was full of change in environment. The closer they came to the kingdom, the more water they saw. Rivers, ponds, and even some waterfalls, all varying in size. After setting up their camp near a river and settling down to eat a meal, Hugo turned to Young. Still want to paint our nails together? We have time now. Young quickly swallowed his last bite of food, nodding. He ran to the supplies and searched for the nail polish. I bought black. I hope that's okay. Yeah, black is pretty. The kid ran back to Hugo with the nail polish and a bag of something. I have some small gemstones you can use too, to make it even more pretty. Sounds good to me. Varian watched the two, glad they were bonding. He went to sit at the edge of the river and took off his shoes, letting his tired feet down into the water. It felt nice and cool, almost healing. A soft sigh left his lips as he lay down in the grass, keeping his feet in the water. Oh, how he wanted to go for a swim right now, just not in front of his friends. The tired alchemist closed his eyes. He listened to the sound of rushing water, the wind blowing and birds singing. He tried to close out the voices of Hyung and Hugo and just enjoy the moment. He was so tired due to two reasons. One was obviously their long days of walking with not a whole lot of food because they had to ration, and reason two was allergies. Varian had hay fever, and since it was spring there were pollen everywhere in the air. His eyes were painful and tearing up. He constantly had a stuffed nose. He struggled to breathe and had to sneeze a lot. Hugo had been laughing at him over his sneeze, but Varian didn't see the humor in it. It was the same thing every year. He should get himself some antihistamines to get relief as soon as possible. Of course, being exposed to the outside world 24 hours a day wasn't making things any more bearable. Usually he would stay in his lab with the windows closed for a few weeks until the worst had passed. In spring his allergies were the worst. Summer was more bearable. They would still be present, but a lot less severe. Achoo! Varian sneezed, his iconic kitten sneeze. He sat up and groaned, blowing his nose in a handkerchief. Hugo was trying so hard not to laugh. His left hand was clasped tightly over his mouth as Young painted the nails on his right hand black. Small snickers and snores forced their way past the blonde's hand as he failed to stop them. It took the boy a moment to calm down and catch his breath. He hadn't laughed out loud, so it counted as a success. Varian's sneeze was just so funny. It was adorable and small, very fitting. He noticed the alchemist glaring and waved. What you doing all the way over there? Trying to relax without being laughed at, Varian answered. Hugo just giggled a bit. Sure, tomorrow we'll arrive at Glassrest. Hopefully even before noon. If we have enough money we can get an inn and some allergy pills for you. I forgot what they're called. Awesome, I feel like death. You look like it. Varian flipped Hugo off, laying back down and closing his eyes. He's so weird, Hugo said to Young, looking at the painted nails on his hands. Looks good, kid. Let me do yours. Young nodded and laid down his hands on Hugo's knee for stability. Wait, are you left or right-handed? Maybe you should let the nail polish dry first. Hugo picked up the brush with his robotic hand. No, I'm a lefty. Don't worry. Oh, that's very unfortunate, Guess you lost that arm? It's a struggle sometimes, like writing and other things that require precision, but I learned to do things with my right hand as well. After saying that, Hugo went silent. He tried to concentrate on painting Hyung's nails. The movements of his prosthetic were a bit jittery and hard to control. It was better than it used to be, but precise work was still difficult. Hugo tried his best to keep every movement stable and the color only on the nails. He bit his tongue in concentration, not even noticing he was making it bleed. It took a while, and he messed up once or twice, but the kid's nails were black, and that's what counts. Yeah, I did it! The blonde was so proud of himself. And it doesn't even look messy. Young giggled. It looks awesome, but your nails have dried. How are we going to get the pretty stones on? I'll make some clay glue. Just a minute. Hero grabbed some bottles from his bag and used a big leaf as a plate. He mixed the chemicals from the bottles together in the right quantities using a stick. After a few seconds of mixing, he had a sticky clear goo. It dries really fast, so be careful, alright? Young nodded, opening the little bag and emptying it on the dry part of the leaf. It was full of small gems. They were worth very little money because of their size, so using them for crafts was a good solution. There were gems of all kinds. Rose quartz, clay quartz, red and normal tiger eye, amethyst, topaz, and other ones. All colors of the rainbow. Some even had funny shapes, like a tiny heart or even a flower. Both boys picked out which ones they wanted on their nails, then helped each other actually accomplish the look they were going for. The glue was very strong and practically invisible once dry, so the charms would stick well. Once they were done, both held out their hands to look at their work. Hugo smiled proudly. So pretty, Young said excitedly. Let's show Varian. He got up and ran over to the alchemist. Hugo smiled a bit, looking at his nails. He didn't remember ever feeling this happy and accepted. It was almost overwhelming. He quickly blinked away the tears. No time for feelings. Carefully, he put the remaining gems back in the bag and got rid of the leaf with the glue. He then went to his tent to deal with his feelings on his own. And that's the end of chapter 8. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next chapter. And I really apologize for the short hiatus. My voice hasn't really been great, so yeah.